Okay guys, I'm going to do a video on foreigners behaving badly and prison populations here in Japan. And if you can hang around to the end of the video, I've had a few ongoing issues with audio, and I'm sure one of you guys might be able to help me out. So this is a video I've actually wanted to do for a while. Decided to do it now. There was a video that came out maybe last week or something, and it alluded to the fact that possibly foreigners commit less crime than the Japanese, and this is where some data sort of can give people the wrong idea. And what this video actually showed is that foreigners committed less crime, but they didn't say what crimes and all the detail, which is the most important thing. So the data from the Ministry of Justice concludes that as a per capita percentage, the Japanese commit more crimes than the foreigners. So the foreigners being 2% of the population, according to the stats, the overall crime rate is lower, but it's always in the detail. And this is where I'm going to show you some data that is really the real data. And before I get into this, if you have a look at the broad term crime, there are so many crimes that foreigners cannot do in Japan. As an example, lying on your tax return. That's a crime that a foreigner can't commit. Not paying child support, not having a fishing license, catching too many fish, whatever. These are things that foreigners cannot commit. So quoting these figures, where only one side can commit the crime but the other can't, is a bit of a joke, really. And this is also on immigration matters. So conversely, a Japanese can't commit an immigration offence, can they, because they're a Japanese. So quoting entire sort of crime statistics, it's just a complete waste of time. And as I said before, what was concluded that was actually a lower rate with foreigners. But I'm going to show you this now, and this is from the World Prison Brief. Here we are, guys. The World Prison Brief. Click in Asia and Japan. Let's have a look. Okay, data from the Ministry of Justice out of Chodoku, Tokyo. Let's have a look. Okay, total prison population 40,800. 13.4% are on remand, so they haven't been sentenced yet. Foreign prisoners 7%. Capacity of the prison is only at 56%. So total population 40,000, 7% are foreign prisoners. That's about 3,000 people. So if you were to extrapolate this, foreigners are 2.3% of the population. They're 7% of the prison population. That means they commit jailable offences at 3 times the rate. So as a total crime statistic, there are offences that foreigners can't commit. So when I said that in the video, these are tourists as well. All this data is tourists. So a tourist coming over to Japan, staying a month or whatever, there's crimes that he just cannot commit. He's just not a resident here. Lying on a tax return, business matters, things like this. These are crimes that would never have the opportunity or cannot commit. So this is why you'll see a lot more higher offences in the local population, because there's just more offences to commit, isn't there? So this is where data just lies. And if people just put this out on the table and they don't explain things, and a lot of the times they don't understand what they're looking at themselves, it just confuses people. So while overall crime rates might be higher, even as a percentage term, with even when you take into account arrivals of tourists and whatever, it still doesn't give the whole picture at all. So somebody coming over on a plane for a week or two, they're going to go visit a few sites and they're going to go home. The chances of tourists coming over and committing offences are really quite low. But a foreigner living here all the time would have a lot more opportunity, obviously, to do the wrong thing. So these are the sort of things that give people the wrong impression. Data shows that foreigners commit jailable offences at 3 times the rate, and in a second I'll go into this as comparative data with other prison populations around the world, and we'll come back to this, and I'm going to show you something that is very, very interesting. So for those who are new to the channel, you might not know, but I worked for 5 years in immigration and Australian immigration, and 2 of those years was deporting criminals. So foreigners that committed crimes went to prison. For over 2 years, I was the person assigned to deport these criminals. So I know this industry inside out, and I've met a lot of immigration officials from different countries, and I just know the industry really well as a matter of course. And there's not a single country in the world where foreigners commit less jailable offences than the local population, and there's a few reasons for this. A lot of times foreigners, they fall on hard times when they're overseas. They have messed up situations possibly where they're from. They don't want to go home, and they would commit offences that they might not normally do, so that there'd be a high percentage of that. There's also people who don't feel that they're going to be jailed in a certain country for committing an offence because it doesn't happen in their country, for example. If you have a look at Japan, if you were to assault somebody, you know, punch them or whatever, very high likelihood you're going to go to jail. In Australia, sometimes you might not even get arrested by the police officer, depending on the circumstances. So it's really, really varied, the laws, depending on where you are. So here I've shown that foreigners commit jailable offences at 3 times the rate of the native Japanese, and people might look at that and go, oh my god, the foreigners are really behaving badly. But everything's a nuance. So they've got 7% of the population of foreigners, and this is on a very low prison population. So Japan's got 126 million people, but their prison population is 40,000, which is half a football stadium. So let's get a little bit of what do you call it? Reality here. That's a very, very tiny prison population. So in general, the whole society is quite law-abiding, and of that 40,000, only 7% are foreigners. So what are we looking there in raw numbers? You know, 3,000 people or something. 3,000 people out of 2 point whatever million. It's very, very low as a total number, but this is also backing up what I'm saying is the foreigners commit jailable offences at 3 times the rate of the native Japanese, but they're 3 times better behaved than the foreigners in most countries. So let's have a look at the foreign prison populations in countries that we're familiar with. Okay, so let's have a look at Australia. Ministry of Justice and Customs in Australia. So our prison population is slightly higher, and our population is 1/5 of Japan. And let's have a look at foreigners. So foreigners, 14.4%. That's double. So this is double the amount of jailable offences by foreigners in Australia. So you don't see people getting up on the internet saying that the foreigners are destroying Australian culture, do you? And Australia is going to fall apart and all this sort of stuff. But you do hear it about Japan, don't you? So this is all emotional garbage, basically. You can have a look at all these countries down here, and you'll always find that the foreign prison population is always higher than the resident population, and that's for reasons that I spoke to about before. So look at that for comparative prison populations and percentage terms. Oh. It's over double, and I'm sure a lot of countries are triple or even more. So let's have a look at Dubai. Okay, let's have a look at Dubai. UAE, let's have a click. Okay, Ministry of Interior of the UAE, prison population, about 10,000. Let's have a look at the foreign prison population. Look at that, guys. Foreign prisoners, 87.8%. You never hear about the foreigners destroying this place, do you? There's just so much hypocrisy about, and it's because people they read clickbait and they don't really know what they're looking at. And have a look at that. Imagine how annoyed the locals would be with a foreign prison population at 87%. I mean, so the locals are committing only 12% of the crime. So I don't know the populations there or whatever, but that may or may not be reflective of the residents there, but I'm fairly certain it's not. Okay. United Kingdom, this is just England and Wales. We can have a look at Scotland and Northern Ireland as well, but they got a prison population of 85,000, and their foreign prisoners are sitting at 12%. So that's double Japan as well. So this is just getting on to what I was saying before about the foreigners here are actually better behaved than the foreigners elsewhere, even though they commit crimes at 3 times the rate of the locals. So you can hold these two things as fact, and you can't divide one from the other. So this is UK, Scotland. Smaller prison population, 8,000, and their foreign prisoners the same rate as Japan. So I'm sure that the foreign population of Scotland is not 7.6%. It'll be lower than that. But there you go. It's always about the detail. So there you go, guys. So quite often you'll hear people on YouTube and people who know what they're talking about, and they'll say what seems to be sometimes contradictory things. So many a time I've said that foreigners are generally well behaved in Japan, and it's totally true, and here's the data that backs it up. They're 3 times better behaved than the foreigners in many countries, but they commit jailable offences at 3 times the rates of the native Japanese. So you have to take all this data and all this information, and you have to weigh it up in its totality. And what annoys me is people put out little clickbaity sort of things, and they don't go into any sort of depth or any nuance. And if they get pointed out a few things, they don't want to extrapolate on it. They just want to leave it where it is, and it just ends up with a lot of confused people. But this is basically the facts of the matter is they do commit jailable offences at 3 times the rates, and this is what really matters. When people say Japan's a safe country, they're not referring to people, the numbers of people who lie on a tax return or something. They're talking about, you know, these sort of jailable offences. And also the foreigners are 3 times better behaved than the foreigners elsewhere. So while one fact may seem really bad, in the totality, it's also not a bad thing as well, comparatively speaking. So this is what I want to get through on this video, and I've got to go down and pick up a few things. It's early morning, the sun's going to come up in about an hour, and when it does, I'm going to just tap on a video now and see if somebody can sort out my audio issue, because this road noise is just starting to annoy too many people. So anyway, I'll be back in a sec. Okay guys, here's the setup I use. It's the iPhone just in the bracket. Here's the receiver that's plugged in. And here's my microphone that everyone thinks I don't have. And that's right up against my chin. So it's really annoying when you tell people you are using a mic and they're talking like they're sound engineers and that you're lying to them. And I've told people many times the sound is coming up through the road, through the dash into this phone. So there's two receivers. There's sound going in here from my voice and also through this microphone. So this is the issue. So there's not much I can do. I've tried the different settings here, but this is for ambient noise in the car. So the car is perfectly silent. You can't hear the road. So this is not the issue. It's got the wind thing and everything. It's a quality microphone. There's no issues with the microphone at all. It's just taking sound from two ends. So I'm not sure if it'll come as a surprise to some people, but I think it will. A lot of people who do YouTube, and some of these people have podcasts and thousands of dollars equipment and only a few thousand views every video, which is only a couple of dollars. Most of these people are trust fund kids. They're independently wealthy and they don't have a job and they have staff and they don't care if they lose thousands of dollars. They're just trust fund kids that want to get famous or something. But this is the reality. Most of us little guys, we're flat out getting this sort of quality equipment, and we're doing our best. So if anybody can tell me if there's a way that I can make this better, if there's a setting in the phone or something. I've looked at everything and I've tried everything, and if nothing can be done, people are just going to have to put up with a little bit of road noise. This is a low-tech channel, and you're not going to get all the Hollywood style equipment here. And I like to do a video as often as I can, and if I get embroiled into all this editing and all this sort of stuff, it just means that there's less content for everybody else, and I'll just become bored with the channel because this sort of stuff doesn't interest me at all. So if anybody has a quick, easy solution for this, be much appreciated. And as always, guys, hope you like the video.
Let's go back home.